We are back. I am back. Okay. Someone's texting me as I'm coming on. You know, always happens. Hope everybody's having a wonderful night, evening, day, morning, wherever you are. Let me just get these pop-outs set up. I've been watching, paying attention to what's going on. It is what, 2:35 a.m. in Iran right now? Is anything going to happen in the next few hours? I don't know. There is, the Overlord is flying. This is the first time I've seen the Overlord flying in the Persian Gulf. It just took off from the UAE, I believe. It's the first time I've seen the MQ-4C Triton. Now that is a highly advanced drone, and it can be used for many things. It is jamming, surveillance, you name it, this thing can do it. It's basically for the sea, but it can be used for everything. Yeah, I'm watching the drone. That's why I came on. Oh, God. I can't imagine about the amount of people. Hold on. They will redo it. Oh God, I'm getting messages. Perfect. I'm getting messages as I'm going on. Okay. Let me fix my camera. It's a little low. A little low. Anyway, yes, that's why I came on. And because I've been noticing it. The Overlord. That's what I opened up with. And here it is. I was also watching that come in from Germany, but that's it. The MQ-4C Triton. Go look it up. That's one mean piece of machinery. And there it is, right there. And that can be in the air for 24 hours at 50,000 feet. It's at almost 40,000 feet right now and climbing. This could be, I'm not saying it is, this could be an indicator because this is used in tandem for an operation. That I was noticing that, if anybody remembers, on Flight Radar 24 before Venezuela occurred, Triton. Daryl, what's happening? And I'll look it up. It's a Northward. Yeah, it is Northrop Grumman. Let's look it up. This thing is one heck. Let's put the 4C Triton. It'll come up to the. I looked at this website before. This is one impressive piece of machinery. And that's what's in the air right now. What this thing can do. The most capable, persistent domain awareness. Detects threats faster. If that's in the air, you have to wonder. It's persistent high altitude maritime. ISR detects, tracks, and classifies objects quickly and safely by flying higher, longer, and more efficiently. But it doesn't just restrict it to sea. Triton is the autonomous. It's a drone capable of altitudes of 50,000 feet for 24 plus hours with a range of 7,400 nautical miles. Oh, it just went up in the air. This thing is going to be going back and forth all night. What's up, DJ? See, unprecedented maritime domain awareness. Look at this thing. Navy. So what do you think it's paying attention to? The Persian Gulf? We're going to have to see its flight path. Look at this thing. That doesn't come cheap either. This is one of the high-end, expensive drones. This is not one of, I'm not saying any of them are cheap, but this is a high-end. Unmatched maritime surveillance. Because they're going to be concerned about the Strait of Hormuz, the Persian Gulf. Is Iran going to start laying mines? Are they going to try to choke it off? Block it by sinking ships? Who knows? This is one heck of a piece of machinery right here. This drone that's in the air right now. Overlord. That's what it's labeled as. Overlord 1. Well, Overlord 1 is in the air. And you know it's going to be... And it doesn't have to fly. It can detect from quite a distance. This is coming in from Germany. Imagine that flight. Ramstein. It's coming into Qatar. And to C-17. Now, I know if you've been paying attention to 2C and to Goldie about the air traffic, there was still significant air traffic over Iran. It's starting to dwindle now. But there's still air traffic over Iran. And there's still over Tehran. So until these no longer flying, look, this one's coming into Tehran airport. Now, when did it take off? That's another question. Is it still trying to get to its destination? Because this thing has been in the air for God knows how long. But you've been hearing that the airspace is going to get closed. They're going to close it down. If you were watching some of these planes are still... Now, this plane just crossed over. If they close their airspace, as we have heard a couple of hours ago, why are their planes still flying into Iran and over Iran and not being diverted? That plane hasn't been over Iran for much time at all. Not at all. So there are still planes going into Iranian airspace. So I'm not so sure about that one. Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. Because you're going to hear a lot of stuff going on. Is it true? Or are they putting it out there? So these are going to be leaving, but they're still planes. This one literally just crossed over into Iran. So how come they said the airspace is closed? You know what I mean? So you have to take everything with a grain of salt. Now, there are countries speaking out against, like Saudi Arabia is coming out speaking out against an attack, but they're going to say that because they don't want to be targets themselves. We condemn the actions. We don't want to see the United... They're going to say that. That's pretty obvious. But there's still traffic out there over Iran. And what is it? 2:35? No, 2:45 a.m. in Iran. There's still a lot of air traffic out there over Iraq. Like I said, this would be an indicator. If you start to see these planes getting out of Dodge and being diverted and not being here in eastern Iraq, then you might say, uh-oh, now Iraq is clearing their airspace. Something might be going down. They're not going to risk civilian aircraft. That's why I didn't think it was going to happen tonight. It might not happen tomorrow night. We still may be days away. So people can't be so quick to judge that it's happening tonight. No, it's not necessarily true. It may not happen tomorrow night. They still need time. If this is going to happen at all, they still need time to prepare. Bases, assets, logistics. I know there's a lot of people when is it going to happen tonight? Is it going to happen tonight? Well, all of us are looking at this and saying if and when it does occur. But it's got to be done under the right circumstances. They just tell everyone to get out. Yeah, exactly. Mad Million. They just told, and the other countries, the Canadians, the Germans, they're saying you need to get out. That takes time. That's not going to be. You got to give them at least a day or two to get out. A great point, Mad Million. Exactly. They just told their people to get out. That takes time. So yeah, that's a great point. So again, it may not happen till Friday. Who knows when it's going to happen? Predictions is just a prediction. None of us know. I'm sure the president and his administration, the people that are involved, they may know, because there was another meeting this afternoon. They may know what is going to occur here in the next week. And they're very tight-lipped, and they're definitely tight-lipped because they're concerned of leaks. The last thing you need is that. So I don't see this happening. Like some people, it's going to happen within the next 24 hours. Hold your horses. Hold on. Take a chill pill. Because you're going to look foolish by saying something like that. Yeah, this one was way up here. I saw that one earlier. A Hercules. This one went all the way up, northern Iraq, and then now it's coming back down, coming back into Qatar. But the curious thing is this one's going to be picking up a lot of surveillance, and it's going to be in the air. So this is definitely something to watch. Because like I said, before it happened in Venezuela, the night before. Andy, I don't know if you were here, who was here. All right, Daryl. The day before, the MQ drone flew from Florida, Jacksonville, to Venezuela, and then back to Jacksonville. And what happened a day later? Boom. And I'm not saying it's going to happen. I don't think it's definitely not happening tonight. Look, when this thing's out there, this is a data collector. This is a jammer. This thing does a lot of different things. It can be used in the air to get live, real-time data for any impending attacks, etc. Yes, it does that too. Because if they're doing anything, that can be watching if the Iranians plan to do anything in the Persian Gulf to disrupt the oil flow. Or like I said, place mines for ships. That could be there So even though I'm saying what I'm saying, it's 2:45 a.m. You never know. That's one thing. The president is unpredictable. You just don't know. So that could be up in the air as something is going on, or it's doing data collecting and will be there in the, because that could stay up in the air for 24 hours. And that's in the region now that we don't have many of these, by the way. And if you remember, you've been seeing a lot of stuff coming in. Matter of fact, earlier today, something came in to UAE, and I'm wondering if this came in, it was brought in, and then now is launched. And this is what the things that's important. A lot of stuff is coming in. A lot of supplies are coming in. Like this just came from Germany, just landed, or is about to land. It's about to land. Came from Germany, which there has been a lot of activity. I mentioned that earlier today. A lot of activity coming from Germany, from the bases, because it's not just one base. So, is it possible? Anything's possible. Is it likely? I don't see it likely. And Alexa, what time is sunrise in Iran? It's like 7 a.m.
Sunrise in Tehran. Iran will be at 7:14 a.m. tomorrow. Would you like to know the sunset?
Alexa, no, stop. So there is a window of darkness still available. You still got about 4 hours. So that does not mean nothing will happen tonight, because there's still 4 hours of darkness. They're not going to do this in daylight. They're just not going to do that. That is just strategically stupid. So if it doesn't happen within the next few hours, it's not going to happen tonight or their morning. And you definitely want to make sure you've got everything in place if it's going to be a military strike. Lindsey Graham can't contain himself. He's just going on and on and on. It's like, bomb him to hell. I'm not live on TikTok yet, because then I can't speak freely on that platform. That's just the way it is on TikTok. So we're holding off on TikTok for a minute. I'll go on eventually, but not yet. I do want to check. I want to show you, because I was like, oh boy, here goes Lindsay again. He's not afraid to speak his mind. Never has. I mean, you may like him or dislike him, but that's Lindsay. They're active here at the National Guard base. You hear that? I don't know if you can hear that rumble. There's activity at the International National Guard base nearby. By the way, that's where they flew Maduro in. That's where Maduro landed, in New York, Newburgh, right here, not too far from where I live. It's to my south, but you can still hear them because those are loud. It's to my south. So, oh yeah, there's been activity here. I'm not saying that has nothing to do. I'm not saying it has nothing to do with Iran. I'm just saying there could be things dealing, of course, within our country with the Guard. And I was like, I'm not going to see the helicopters, whether the one that Maduro was on or the escort, because they're heading south. So I wasn't like it was going to go over my house because I'm to the north. But I'm sure the people that lived right there seen the helicopters. Or like West Point, places like that, as it was heading toward New York City. Hold on. Oh, here it is. This was a few hours ago. This is what Lindsey Graham. So he reposted what the president had said in his post. To all Iranian patriots, keep protesting, take over your institutions if possible, and save. That was from actually. Yeah, that's what it says. All I say to them, help is on the way. Okay, whatever. So Lindsey, what a powerful Ronald Reagan plus message being delivered by President Trump today to the protesters. Keep protesting. This is the President Trump's Ronald Reagan moment on steroids. When Reagan went to the Berlin Wall, he didn't say, would you mind lowering it? He said, tear it down. At a critical time for the long-suffering people of Iran, President Trump said, keep protesting. This will be his Berlin Wall moment 1,000 times over. If this tyrannical, I can't say the word, tyrannical religious Nazi regime in Iran falls because the will of its people, it will be as significant as the collapse of the Soviet Union and the biggest challenge in the Middle East in 1,000 years. When it comes to standing up to evil, which provides security for the American people, the president is on track to be the GOAT, greatest of all time, of presidents. That's what Lindsey posted 3 hours ago. Lindsey's like, he's got the mega cap on, make Iran great again, and he's waving the flag. That's what Lindsey's doing. He's a character. Mad Million, you almost made me spit out my coffee. He's foaming at the mouth. Oh my gosh. Oh, and I read your comment. I almost lost the coffee. There could have been stains on the shirt, and it would have been your fault. But yeah, and I'll show you on the screen. Lindsey. That's what he had posted 3 hours ago. Or a little bit more because it says 3 hours. It could be like 3 hours and 53 minutes. Anyway. So, keeping an eye, like I said, and what Mad Million said, countries are telling their people to get out. You think it's going to happen tonight when other countries are trying to get their people out of the country? Including our own. Does that make sense to you? You hear a lot of people talking stuff. It's going to happen within the next 24 hours. Now, it might technically happen in the next 24 hours because it might happen tomorrow night. Around this time. So that 24-hour thing that some people are saying, it's possible technically. Do I think it's going to happen tonight? No. Not saying it's not. I'm saying my own personal opinion is no, based on what somebody said in chat is true. And they're still bringing in supplies. One just landed in Qatar. They're still bringing in assets, logistical support. Even though that Triton is flying around, I'm telling you, when that Triton is in the air, now you really got to keep an eye. Because that thing, when it's up in the air, like that one disappeared. The Triton is still there. The one landed. That's the one I was watching. It landed. But that Triton is flying around right now. In the Persian Gulf. It's right there. And I was watching, just a true story. I thought something was going to pop off when it happened in Venezuela. I told people, if anything happens, contact me. Wake me up. I don't care. So somebody did at 2:30 in the morning. I'm getting calls on Teams. And I was sleeping because I wanted to get up early just in case something would happen. I wake up 6:30 in the morning. It's not Iran. It's Venezuela. Because I saw this the day before, and I said, "Oh boy, if they've got the Triton near Venezuela," I was like, "Oh, could this be?" And then I'm getting messages. It's going off in Venezuela, Bill, and I'm sleeping. But this was in the area of Venezuela right before it happened. That's all I'm saying. For those that were watching, like KJ's in chat, I heard that too, that Trump was going to address President Trump was going to address the nation at 8 p.m. I saw that. I don't know if that's necessarily true, is it? I don't know. I had heard that too. Is that confirmed? If he is, we got to cover it. I got my coffee. I'm ready. I took a power nap. I fell asleep watching the other ones. They literally put me to sleep. I'm not even kidding. I fell asleep. I was like, oh my God. And then I woke up. Tusi was over and I was like, So this is, I mean, if you think about it, you know that they would love to disrupt, especially right here, the choke point. They would love to disrupt this because there's going to be a lot of pressure in the United States. Well, you caused an oil supply global issue by doing this. They would love to say, look what the United States caused. You know, they're going to cast blame. It's because of the United States that this is happening. Meanwhile, they're watching to see if they put any mines in here, especially here, because that's the choke point. I heard they're willing to put ships and sink them to block it. It would take time to remove those ships. So that's out there watching. It's watching the Iranians. Because if something is imminent, there's going to probably be a reaction from the Iranians to disrupt, cause chaos. It makes total sense to have that Triton out there, which is a very highly advanced UAV. As I had the article up, I'm going to put it back up again. This thing is impressive, this Triton. This is one piece of machinery. It's very, very impressive what it can do. I'll put it up again. I got to go to Northrop Grumman. It's the MQ-4C. And I already put Triton. This thing, let's just read this again, what this thing can do. That's why I see this as being somewhat significant. That's what you're looking at. Overlord 1 over the Persian Gulf right now, that's this. It's Navy. It's really used for maritime, but it can also be used for land, but it's basically for maritime. It makes sense for the Persian Gulf. So I'm going to just read it. The MQ Triton's persistent high altitude maritime ISR detects, tracks, and classifies objects quickly and safely by flying higher, longer, and more efficiently by quickly sharing data to enable military coordination. See, now that's what gets me, because I've read this numerous times when the Venezuelan thing was going on. So this thing is like almost giving you real-time data. That can work in coordination with something else that's about to happen. So if they're hitting targets, they're going to see the response, if any, that the Iranians do in the Persian Gulf. Pretty much this thing is fast. It's going to give them data quick that can be relayed. And then they can be notified and say, okay, they're trying to, like send in their boats and lay mines. They'll go in and take them out before they can do it. This is very important. Anyway, It talks about its height, how long it can be in the air, 7,400 miles. Triton builds on Northrop Grumman's autonomy and HALE leadership, that's the acronym, that provides unmatched, persistent maritime surveillance, early warning to missile threats. Oh my gosh! Early warning to missile threats. It will detect that they're about to fire. And detection and targeting from standoff range. The aircraft can operate collaboratively with crewed platforms across the domains through the intelligent and timely exchange of data. So if there are aircraft in the air, it can give that data to those aircraft and say, look, this is happening. They take the data, they go in. And there's F-22s, there are Raptors in Qatar, just to make a point. Let's see. Triton's ultra-long endurance and domain awareness also makes it ideal for a wide range of homeland defense missions. Unprecedented maritime domain awareness. This is the perfect thing you want in the air in the Persian Gulf right now. This is what you want. This is what you want there. A single MQ-4C with its ultra-long operational range and high altitude combined with simultaneous operations of the 360-degree multi-intelligence suite provides for 4 times the ISR coverage of other autonomous platforms without sacrificing altitude, range, or endurance. Triton can see farther. That's a key. Fly longer, act faster, identify quicker, and it is more survivable than the less capable medium altitude uncrewed systems. This thing is at 50,000 feet. Good luck. Good luck. The U.S. Navy has robust Triton R&D funding, research and development, funding for continued capabilities, insertion, and improvements to pace the threat. So upgrades. They have the money. The funding for research development to advance it, to upgrade it. So this is in the air right now over the Persian Gulf. And it doesn't have to be close. It can do it from a distance. Unmatched maritime surveillance. So that's why I wanted to give a little background, because that's it right here, Overlord 1. And remember, this can also alert missile early detection launch. This can do a lot of things quickly. So this is very important that this is in the air. And like I said, before the Venezuelan thing happened, they launched one from Jacksonville, Florida. It went all the way down off the coast of Caracas, then flew all the way back. I don't know if it was 1 day or 2 days later. That's when it happened. But this was in the air. But again, what somebody put in chat is true. Other countries have told their people to get out. You got to give that a little time, don't you think? It's not like they could just, oh my gosh, run to the airport, get on the first flight to get out. I'm sure some people are trying to do that. But that shit still takes time. It depends how much personnel they have. But Iran is a big country. You would think they'd give that a little time, maybe 24 hours. Plus, yesterday it was also for Americans. Get out. Get out. And they even said, we cannot help you. You got to find a way to get out. They were being blunt and honest. You got to find a way. Do not use your U.S. passport because they can detain you. And they'll use them as chips. Negotiation chips. Hostages. We're going to go through that shit again? I don't think so. So, like I said, there's a lot going on. What's this one coming in? That's the Hercules. Yeah. And like I said before, you got to look at the general air traffic. If the airlines are telling them to stay out of Iran, they're not saying to stay out of Iraq yet. There's still a lot of air traffic going through Iraq. Because you know what? They're going to say, and I don't want to say the word, but oh shit. The United States is hitting Iran. Is Iran going to retaliate and go try to hit Israel? Well, you know everything in between is going to be like, oh my gosh, we got to clear the area. We got to get our planes out of there, civilian aircraft. There could be missiles in the air. Remember when it happened in June? That airspace was clear. You saw all the planes diverting around it. So unless I see any indicators that there's being, if these planes start to divert and move the heck away or turn around, or then you could say, uh-oh, is something about to go down? That would be an indicator. And like I said, there are still planes flying over Iran. But you're starting to see little indicators that something may be coming. Especially with that Triton. I can't emphasize that more. That Triton is important. Especially if you're going to do a preemptive strike, that is going to detect. Okay, the light is on for this launcher. They're about to fire missiles. Get them. So that's in the air. But that can be in the air for 24 hours. It just took off. How long ago did it take off? 24 hours doesn't mean now. 24 hours could mean tomorrow night, local time, early morning in Iran. So I know there's a lot of people out there saying it's going to happen within 24 hours. But when they said that, that was like at 3 o'clock this afternoon. So that would be 11:30 in Iran. Could be. Technically 24-hour window. If you want to be like technical. It's possible. What time did it start in Venezuela? Like 2 a.m.? 2:30 a.m.? So, let's see. How long has this... Excuse me. Who knows how long this has been time-wise in the air. Oh. Actual 2:35. So, it's been in the air for a bit. But like I said, this thing, and you just all seen it on the screen, this thing could stay up in the air for 24 plus. Flying at 50,000. I wonder what the top speed is of this. 300 ground speed. True airspeed, 270 knots. What's the altitude? Wow, this thing's at 46,000. But see where it's going? That's why if they're going to do something, I think they would choke this off. They're not going to do it out here. It's going to be right here. They would lay mines, sink ships, cause disruption, because that would take a while to get that clear. And that would be my guess. Right in there. And that this is going to be something to keep an eye on. But like I said, I am not seeing anything happening this morning. And I could be wrong. It might pop off tomorrow. And again, I'm going to emphasize what Mad Million said in there, a lot of countries told their people today, earlier, to get out. You got to give that time. To let those countries try to get their people out of the country. Now, I know some people might say, do you really think that the president gives a F about that? I'm sure people are thinking about that. You think the president cares about them getting their people out? But we also have people there that we're trying to get out. So until I see some change here, because the civilian traffic, you're going to see it. You're not going to see the military, the vast majority of it. You won't see that. But you will see the civilian traffic. When that starts to act strange, where you start seeing planes being diverted away from the airspace, then you know they've been warned to get the hell out and it's coming down. It's going to happen. Until I see evidence, like indicators, no. Because they're still following the flight path through eastern Iraq. And it's consistent. When they start to turn and have to go around, like happened 6 months ago or so, and they have to go around, when they got to go around or go this way around, then you know something's up. But when you have all this air traffic in eastern Iraq, now I just want to see what anybody else is saying in chat. And can anybody confirm that if the president is going to speak tonight at 8 o'clock? I heard about that earlier. Is that true? Again, you can't. You have to confirm things. You just can't run and be impulsive and everything you see, because there's a lot. You got to remember, they're going to put stuff out there to throw people off intentionally. And some people may go with it and be a little bit gullible and say, oh my God, did you see what they just said? They might have did that on purpose, intentionally, because they know the other side is watching. So you're falling right into the trap like they would. Oh my God. But definitely, I think the clock is ticking. I think the clock is ticking. The question is, will Iran strike Israel? Why wouldn't they? They would love to tell their people withdraw, but this is the question I asked earlier today. Not by us here in chat, not by any other person that's doing a show, podcast, whatever, because it's going to be biased. If you took a poll of the Iranian people in Iran, not outside Iran, in Iran, and you asked them, if Israel was to retaliate or even preemptively strike Iran, are you going to fall for the regime's ploy and distraction saying, the Zionist regime is attacking us? Just because they would think that might try to stop them and break up this revolution that's going on. Or would they say, please do hit the IRGC, hit the targets? Because they're not going to go after the civilians. They're going to go after the targets. What would the Iranian people say right now? What do you think the vast majority of Iranians would say? Please do it. Bring it. Hit the IRGC. Hit them hard. Because the army is different in Iran, the People's Army. Let's call it the Army of Iran and the IRGC. And somebody brought this up earlier. That was a great point. If that army flips and takes the side of the people, then the target becomes clear. IRGC. Now, I don't know. I haven't really paid too much of attention. Is any of the army personnel starting to flip over to the people's side? I don't know, but that would be so significant if the Iranian army, not the IRGC, takes the side of the people. That's a game changer. Because now everyone has a common enemy, the IRGC. So that would be now the army, who is armed, not like many people in Iran, which are not, alongside with the United States. And yes, if Israel's attacked, they're going to attack back. You know that. And they might launch, who knows, maybe they won't take their shit out on U.S. bases, but I think they would. They might just do an all-out assault on Iran, on Israel, to say, this is our last gasp of breath. We might as well let it all out. If we're going down, we're going to try to take out the Zionist regime. Could you imagine? That's probably what they would say. I don't know if they'd be that crazy to do something like that. What do you all think? It's right. Little, I think it's the size of like New Jersey, Israel. You're right, it's small. And even though they were targeted bases, you know that the enemy is Israel. That's the bottom line. Yes, we are too. That to America, all that. You know, they see us as accomplices in aiding Israel and everything. You know that. We're part of that. But yes, Israel is number one. We're a close second, if not 1A. We're 1B. I mean, we're right there. But yes, I think they would. That's why I was telling people, remember that red alert thing on the phones? Remember that red alert app that warned Israeli residents of incoming missile threat? Seek shelter immediately. I activated mine again a few days ago. Because if that shit goes off, you know it's hitting. You know it's getting really bad. Did you remember that app? Called Red Alert. I'm sure if you were paying attention to what was going on back then, you heard the annoying sound of that app. But it's intentional. It was intentionally to be annoying so it would get people's attention. It's actually clever. I would want something like that too that would stand out above this thing. Let me show you the test sound. Self-test. You ready? Remember this? Remember that? Remember that sound? It's not a sound that people in Israel want to hear, or many others. Remember that? Were you watching a program on TV or someone doing a podcast and we have alerts, red alert in Israel, and maybe you'd hear the sound in the background of that as the alerts were coming in? Mine is activated just in case. If something goes down in Israel, they're going to put up that red alert. So I have mine activated because that will tell me if Israel puts up red alerts that there's missiles coming in. That would not be good. I mean, we might hear it if you're not paying attention. What happens if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm sleeping, and all of a sudden I hear that tone? It's happening. That will tell me right away. It's happening. That was horrible to hear that sound for the people in Israel. I'm just saying. So yeah, there's indicators that you can have that can kind of tell you something's about to go down, or but honestly, at this time of night, I don't think anything's happening in the morning hours tonight in Iran. there's still like 3+ hours of darkness. I don't see it happening tonight. I know a lot of people are like, when is it going to happen? Is tonight the night? You know, you know. Yeah, look at it. It's hugging the coast now of UAE. You think it's going to go around and come around here, or you think it's just going to go a little bit more and then turn around? And what do you guys think? You think the drone is going to go further and make that turn and come down and maybe come to here? Remember, this thing could be in the air for 24 hours plus. This is going to be in the air for a while. What do you guys think? Shroot says it will be after the market closes on Friday. You know, I was thinking of that too. That's why I said, you're right. That's an excellent point. Excellent point. Because you know it's going to affect the market big time, especially the oil. That's an excellent point. And it does, that makes sense in so many other ways too. It gives time for people to get their people out. If you guys hear anything, please let me know. But let's try to be rational, logical, and grounded, and not, you know, let's try to see if there's a little credibility behind any reports that come out. You know what I mean? It does make sense. It does make sense. That is a great point, Shroot. That's a great point you brought up on YouTube chat. Oh, I'm not on TikTok yet. I may not go on TikTok tonight. I think we might just stay like this so I could talk freely and not worry about Tube of the U, Book of the Face, Rumbler Nation, because we're on Rumble too. That annoys me. Do you know I've gotten hit from streaming on TikTok numerous times where I'm banned for a week or banned for 2 days? You know, I got banned a few times for saying, because, you know, I'm older. That's retarded. You know, like that's like an old thing I used to say. That's so freaking retarded. And because I used the word retarded, I'm banned. That platform is freaking ridiculous. Truly. But there is an audience there. And when I say that, there are people. I mean, there's people from all over the world. And if you're going to talk about this, you're trying to get the message out to as many people as possible. In a responsible way, not an irresponsible way, not in an exaggerated way. You just put, like I'm showing on the screen, you put the data, you put whatever you can that you can kind of verify, because there's so much stuff on X is questionable. But when I say a Lindsey Graham posts something, or Marco Rubio, or the State Department, or whatever, that's actually coming from them. If it's a legitimate account, of course. Then you say, okay, look what they just said. Well, otherwise you have to be so careful. There was a funny video today I saw. And hello to you in Serbia. And God bless you and the people of Serbia. Did you see it was so funny. The clip yesterday of the guy in the helicopter allegedly covering the protest, the pro-rally event in Tehran, and he's hanging out, wind blowing through the hair. Did you see that? Somebody made a video today that was so funny of that same guy. I was cracking up. The reason I bring that up is because of AI. Oh no, you will, like, who said it? Saba men, I'll just say Saba. Like Dusty said, they're only going to show you what they want you to see. So there's so much going on right now that you don't see. That's guaranteed. A lot. Like earlier today, and I could rewind. Look what I caught earlier. Now let's see what you all conclude. Now I don't know if anything happened. I'm not saying anything did. Look what happened about an hour or two ago. right over here in Jordan and Syria. You want to see? Let's play back. So 23, let me go to 20. Let's go to 20. Keep an eye. Let me pause it first before anything pops up. There were 2 Typhoon UK fighters and their Voyager refueler. And you can look up the article, don't take my word for it. About a week or so ago, the UK along with France hit targets in ISIS targets, an underground facility, storage in Syria. And they used Typhoons, and they used their Voyager, which is a refueler, because they have a base right there in Greece. So I see, because I've been monitoring this all day. You know, I'm not really watching what Goldie's saying or Tusi. I'm listening to what they're saying, trying to see if they say anything that I can catch on and say, oh, that's interesting. You know, it's more like they might say something that I'll have to look deeper into. Now I'm putting this in motion. I'm going to go a little, I don't want to go too fast because sometimes it comes up with bad data when you speed it up too much. Now remember, you're not going to see it. It's just going to pop up because they turned their transponders off. There it is. There's those 2. Okay. Pause. Look. 2 Typhoons. UK. Were they doing something in Syria? There's 2 Typhoons. Right near Syria. And they came back on once they were in Jordan. So where were they? Were they in Syria? Were they hitting any targets in Syria? I don't know. And then I'm going to slow the speed down now that we see them, because it might interrupt it. And then you'll see the Voyager, which is their refueler here. So I'm going to let it play. Oh, there it is. There it is. That is their refueler, the Royal Air Force. The Voyager. Did something happen earlier today by UK forces in Syria? I don't know. But they were there. And then they went back to where they came from in Greece, the base, which is located right there. Because somebody brought up a great point earlier today in chat. I know, Isaac, my nerves are shot over all this. And I'm going to read all your chats because I like to read everybody's, and I respect everybody's opinion. Everybody has a voice here. Everyone's opinions matters. Whether you're for, against, you know, I think it's important that everybody has a voice. And no super chats. So yeah, here's the base. I've been keeping an eye on that. It's the Royal Air Force base right here. RAF Akrotiri. It's going to be like that. It's in Greece. It's going to have that kind of a name. I'm from New York. I originally from the city. I live upstate for 20 years now. So I have that, that accent going on, you know what I mean? And I will just say, forget about it. All right, let me just catch up to some chats going on. And I just wanted to show you that, though, because I picked that up earlier today. And I was like, oh, what's going on? And like somebody said, Dusty, you'll see it if they want you to see it. Now, they're over Jordanian space. You can see it now. Whatever happened, happened. They feel they can do that. Put their transponders out. Here I am. But they're not. You're not going to see what they don't want you to see. Why? How? Why? That makes no sense. Here we are. Here we coming. Here we are. No. But it's also psyop to say we're here. Holy sh! Oh, it looks like it is going to go around. Is it? You think it's going to go all the way around? The Triton drone? Look where it's flying. Is it going to go like this? And then head back? What do you think? Because if the Iranians are going to do anything to choke off the Persian Gulf, the oil flow, it's going to be here. In the shortest point, the Strait of Hormuz. Why? Because it's the shortest point. They can take some tankers out there or whatever and sink them and block it. Put mines in the water, all that. They're going to choke this off. They're going to try to disrupt it. That's why we're keeping an eye on it. And also early missile detection. And that drone is significant. That is significant that drone is out there. And let me see what some people are saying in chat. Oh, you're talking about, I see the market. I see what you're writing about ACL. The Lockheed Martin MC-130. I've been in the Persian Gulf. Lots of sea snakes. Now don't they have a lot of these fast patrol boats with when shoulder carried missile systems and stuff for ships? You would know more than I. That's definitely for sure, based on what you just said. I am not on X right now. I should be. Hydrophis. I see what you wrote. So, yeah, we have to keep an eye on this. No doubt. Now, sunrise is at 7:15-ish in Iran. 7:14, I think. So you still have some time here. But like I said, I don't think it's going down tonight. There's the light. I really don't. Oh, and this has been going on. F-15s in Qatar have been just popping up on, it just disappeared. Or did it? It did. That, believe it or not, we can go back. I'm not going to do it. That was an F-15. A Qatari F-15. It's been doing that all day. It will show, disappear, but it's there. F-15s in Qatar. They're the Qatari Air Force. It might show up again. I mean, I don't really feel like playing back to just see it, but it's there. Bahrain, little activity out of Bahrain. There's been some activity out of Bahrain. And also the base near Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Right here. And it's right over here somewhere. How do I know? Because they turn their transponders on or off as they approach. And I don't know if ACL, if you're familiar with this, you let me know. But it's generally the way it was looking, it's somewhere in here. So there's been activity coming out of here, in and out, near Riyadh. So you know where to look. That looks like I'm not going to look. That looks like a C-17. Oh, yeah. Just by looking at it. Now, where the heck? Yeah, there's something. I've seen a lot coming out of here, too. Here comes another one. A lot coming from Germany. And some from the UK. Where did this one come from? That's the one you were just talking about. Who put that in the chat? Andy. From Belfast. Wow. They're bringing them from all over Europe. I mean, they're coming from everywhere. A lot from Germany, but wow. Holy cow. Oh, and another thing I noticed last night, there was a lot of refuelers off near Japan. There was like 3 of them in the air lined up. I'm like, are they bringing the B-1Bs over the Pacific? Because then you got to watch the United States, what's going on in the States. Did they send them over the Pacific and they're now in Diego Garcia? That they were refueling them? The Isle of Man. This definitely looks like a tanker. And they're bringing in the big boy tankers too, the 46, the KC-46. All right, that's just the Strata tanker, which is a more modern version of the 35. But let's take a look. I'm very curious. Let's go over by Japan, because you might see stuff coming in of Diego Garcia, because it's by India. It's down there. I don't see anything. Now, of course, there's always going to be activity here. That's definitely a refueler. They're bringing them in from everywhere. They are. They're bringing them in from everywhere. And let's look at the states. Because sometimes you'll see stuff going on here, especially to the north, Dakotas, Texas. There are different places to look. Gordo, that means fat. That means fat in Spanish. Okay, that's a Boeing. I'm looking at the larger ones. There's some fighters here. Is a tanker probably. I mean, they got to have them all over the country. I'm not saying, yeah. But this is something to keep an eye on too. Because if you see them circling, they could be refueling them in the air before they make their journey either over the Atlantic or toward the Pacific. But that's what you'll see. They'll do a circle. Long circle. More, not a circle, more like an oval. An oval. Straight line. Turn back. Straight line. Not just a circle. Let me correct myself. That could be an indicator that they're refueling craft in the air. So these are like the little things you look for. At least what I look for. So you got to check out everything that's going on. It's not just there. It's all over. Let's see where that drone is. It's funny how they keep bringing them in. They're coming in with so much. And that's the thing. We got to be ready. And it looks like exactly that. There it is. The drone is right where I thought it would be. And it's definitely... Now, is it going to come all the way around? Think the circling over mainland U.S. is... It could be training. Of course it can be. Of course. I'm not saying with absolute certainty that is the case, that it could. I said it could be that they're refueling. I'm not saying for absolute certainty that it is, but sometimes those are the indicators that they are refueling. For example, the B-1Bs before they take their journey. Yes, Ireland. It came from Ireland, the other one. That's what I was saying earlier. That one, that C-17 came from Ireland, Belfast. I was like, wow. They're coming from Ireland, UK, a lot from Germany. They're coming from all over Europe. So they're bringing in a lot of assets from the different bases that the United States have in Europe, and they're bringing it in. And you can still see they're still coming in, so they're not ready yet. They are not ready yet. They want to make sure they can have everything in place before they do anything, if anything at all. It would be stupid if you weren't prepared. Because you got to remember, whatever you do, you have to protect our troops. You know that? You have to protect our troops, our personnel on the ground. And you got to think also, whatever host nation that any launches occur from, they're targets. So Qatar knows this. And I think the Iranian government already said that. We're not just going to hit the bases. Any countries that host these bases and allow the United States to take out attacks on our country, you are also a target. I don't think you're going to see anything in Ireland right now, to be honest, because this plane is already, I'm sure, like I have activity going on near me. Doesn't mean it's connected whatsoever. But this plane is coming from Ireland. This one. That's amazing. From what was it, Belfast? Yeah. This is a Commando too, though. It's not a C-17. But look, it's this is coming from Ireland. I think it's tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. I don't think it's tonight. Right now, it is 3... what time is it? Alexa, what time is it in Iran right now? It's acting up on the other device. Alexa, what time is it in Iran right now? This is not a difficult question.
It's 3:47 a.m. in Iran right now.
No way. I don't see it happening. I don't think I'm going to go on TikTok.
Was that for me?
No, that was not for you. Thank you, Alexa. Stop. I'm not going to go on TikTok tonight. Because then I can't talk freely. It's annoying. TikTok will wait till tomorrow. But, yeah. They're still bringing in assets and logistical support. I don't see anything happening tonight. Though very curious, you know. Oh, there it is. It came back up. The Qatari F-15. Let me do it before it disappears. Let me do it before it disappears. It's been doing this all day. Yep. Oh, it's actually a Typhoon this time. Wrong. I was wrong. It was an F-15 earlier. See, Qatar. So they have Typhoons and F-15s. They have a little bit. It's been popping up all day. This is the one I think that just landed. Yeah, that's the one that the Hercules that just landed. But let's see where the drone is. Oh, it is. It is making its way down. And remember, this can be in the air for 24 plus hours at an altitude of 50,000 feet. Bean, exactly what somebody else earlier in chat said. If you tell, if you're a country like Canada or Germany or Australia or whoever, and you tell your people to get out as soon as possible, that takes time. Or Germany, whatever. You should leave Iran as soon as possible. Well, does that mean like in the next 6 hours? In the next 12 hours? You got to give them a little time to get the hell out of the country, right? especially if they're going to go on an airplane and these airlines stop going into Iran or out from Iran. I mean, if you think about it, you better do it now while you can, because that airspace is going to get shut. All this talk about the airspace is going to close and all that. Well, there's still international flights flying over Iran. There's still a lot of planes flying over eastern Iraq. So, again, be careful on what you see and hear, because a lot of it could be a ploy for misinformation. Almost, I would even almost say like a PSYOP propaganda tool. You have to be very careful. You can't just jump impulsively and say, oh my God, they're going to close the airspace. When you see evidence of it, then you can say. Otherwise, it's just talk. Follow? Does that not make sense? You know, you got to have some semblance of calm down, gather information, try to see if it's credible, verify. Yes, they would fly again. You will, let's put this back up. Let's look at the civilian. You will see them start to divert and act strangely. You'll say, uh-oh, they're not flying. And it would happen soon, quick. You would see all kinds of diversions of the flights. Like, oh shit, we got to get out of their airspace now. Whatever that means, however we got to go, we got to get out of here. These are civilians. And we've seen this happen. What happened over Iran? Remember that? Or the one in Ukraine in recent my memory. Don't want that. So, and sometimes the traffic goes to the north, and sometimes it comes down, and sometimes it's both. As I've noticed that pattern. But look at all the air traffic still. Because if something goes down in Iran, a lot of people are assuming, oh shit, they're going to fire, right? It has to go to Iraq, over Jordan, maybe parts of Syria, to hit Israel. You think those planes are going to be jeopardized if there's missiles in the air flying? And I'm not just talking about one. Potentially, you're talking maybe hundreds of missiles in the air. Those planes are not going to be there. That's why I say keep an eye on flight radar, even if it's just civilian, because that will tell you something's about to go down. If you start seeing those planes divert or avoid the area and they're going below it or above it and going around, you know something's coming. Right or wrong? Does that not make sense? John is saying, have you seen the report of fighter jets in northern Iraq? Is it real? I have not seen that. Again, and I have not looked into that, never heard it. I was concentrating more on this. There's going to be a lot of talk. Don't run with anything you see or hear. Try. And would they announce that? Really? Would they? Or unless somebody leaks something out on purpose? Because that could be a diversion. Oh, did you hear? Look, there's something going on up there. Meanwhile, that's just a diversion. There's so much. You got to be careful. That's what I'm saying. U.S. sold Qatar the most advanced F-15. That was, I saw that, John. That's the one I saw today. Exactly that one. The F-15 QA. I saw that today. That is funny that you put that there because that's the one I saw. It does pop up now and again on flight. Yeah, you're right. I seen it. Do you think they'll try to knock out Iran's? No. What might happen is cyber. Right now, Reza Pahlavi told them to strike, don't work in the energy sector, etc. I don't know if there's any activity going on right now in their oil fields. I don't know. I don't think that's so much of a concern right now. I don't think they would do that. That's a good question. That is a really good question. Who said that question? SJ. That's actually an excellent question. I don't think so. I think they're going to go at IRGC sites, bases. They would have to definitely take out their ballistic missile platforms, and even storage facilities, because who knows how long. I mean, we don't know. I would go after as much IRGC assets as I can. The question is, are they going to go after leadership? Do you think they would go after the leadership? Personally, I think that the Iranian people should capture the supreme leader and hold him and his other cronies to justice. That's just my own opinion. But sometimes you can't get what you want. But I think they would be like, he got the easy way out, and his demise was quick. I think they want to put him on trial, similar to Nuremberg. Put all these, I don't want to curse, but put them on trial and have them face justice by the Iranian people. That's just my opinion. But it could be they go after the regime itself. What would you do? See, this is the questions that have to be asked. And then, it's almost like, okay, I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm not trying to throw a conspiracy into this. I am not at all. But with Osama bin Laden, and allegedly, supposedly, on the ship, they disposed of his body. How do we know that to be true? Or even if it did happen, right? Let's say it did. There's always going to be the question, is he still alive? Did that happen? I think by the Iranian people doing it themselves, because let's say we hit him. We still hear talk about Hitler survived and went to South America. Decades, almost a century later. That's why I say it has to be something definitive. Let the people, similar to what happened with Saddam Hussein, let the people decide. I think it's up to them. Don't you think they deserve that? I do. And I'm looking at all of your comments, so if you guys got something to say, I will bring it up. When you see, I seen strata tankers like for 2 weeks already. But it's funny how the strata tankers, I got fooled a couple of times. I'm like, oh my God, there's one going into Iranian airspace. I'm like, oh my God. Then it's on Iran International's talking about it. A news channel's talking about it. False alarm. And I hope I wasn't the cause of it, because I was like, oh, but I seen it on flight radar. I saw it. No. But usually, this is the typical pattern of those strata tankers coming out of Qatar. Except for one that did something different. They come out, they head northwest. When they get to the southern eastern point of Iraq, they went west. Now, sometimes the transponder would be turned off, or sometimes you'd see them going north into Iraq. And then they would turn it off. That's been the pattern, except for one. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before. Took off from Qatar. It went north of Riyadh, circled a few times, and then it went on its merry way. And then it came back down and landed. I was like, what was it doing? Why did it go to Saudi Arabia? You know what I mean? I was like, are they refueling? Because that's the first thing I think. Are they refueling something in the air? It's a tanker. I mean, wouldn't you reach that conclusion? What is it doing? Why did it go over there? Why it didn't land? Why is it circling near a base, one of our bases. Now, a lot of this just could be preparation for when it, if and when it does happen. This is all prep. Any one of us that is watching right now, any one of us can reach our own conclusion, speculate, opinion, and no one would be wrong because no one knows. I mean, his inner circle and the president probably know by now. They pretty got a good idea, even though there's probably a debate going on. Do we do cyber? Do we do this? Do we do that? Do we... What exactly? And then very few people will be notified, like what happened with Venezuela. Because they're afraid of a leak. Loose lips. Right? So only those that are in a need to know, as far as civilian, I'm sure the military personnel have a good idea what's about to go down. But as far as civilian, people in Congress, that kind of deal, the president keeps it close. And this has nothing to do with politics. Let me make that clear. This is not, I'm not talking from a partisan, I'm talking about this from a logical, rational thinking perspective. You want to keep this clamped down. You want as least amount of people to know, because loose lips. It's just logical. Right? I mean, what here, think about, and I'm again, this is not political when I say this. Think about past administrations. Well, we're going to do this in approximately 2 weeks. We're going to plan on doing it. Are you kidding me? Are you really kidding me? See, the one thing about President Trump, and again, I say this all the time, it's not whether you like him or dislike him. One thing, he's unpredictable. You don't know. And he throws so much stuff out there. You think he does that? He does that on purpose to keep them guessing. And that's exactly, right now in Iran, they're probably saying to themselves, what the F is he going to do? I mean, the other day, yesterday actually, the president of Iran was out on the streets with his security, and go look at the footage. They're looking around there, and the supreme asshole, he's like this, and he's looking up. He's looking around like, oh shit, this dude is paranoid. He came out of his little hole bunker to show presence, and I bet you it didn't take long before he went back into the hole. Right? It is. It's a tactic, and it works wonders. Look, all right, we knew something was going to go down in Venezuela. Right? We had a feeling. And it's not like, here's another thing that upsets me. The president gave Maduro options. You pretty much leave. I'll even help you leave. But you have to resign on the tarmac, sign the paperwork, and I'll take you, your wife, and your son out of the country. I mean, he does. Now, he's very blunt and direct. It's not like he's gonna... It's almost like an ultimatum. Let's be honest. Take it or leave it, and if you leave it, then, the ramifications are going to be, okay, you're on your own now. Good luck. Take it. You better take it before. But it's not funny. I'm just saying it because that's the way he is. And you see how, let's put it another way. Let me put it to you another way. What happened in June when Midnight Hammer, you don't think they could have really taken out the regime? The president spared him. Remember, Israel had air superiority over Iran in what? 48 hours? They were flying at will all over Iran. They could have decimated it. How many, and of course Mossad's on the ground, and I'm not going to say much more than that. But you don't think they could have had the opportunity to take him out then? They spared him. He may not be that lucky this time. You know what I'm saying? They could have. And then you hear the propaganda. Oh, we defeated the Israel regime. If they wanted to, they could have took them out and given them an absolute wipeout. They were so vulnerable. They had nothing in the air. Israel was flying at will anywhere. Anywhere they wanted to. Iran, and think how decimated Iran was after that. You think they rebuilt that quick? Oh, they've been working on it. China's bringing shit in. The Chinese are helping with upgrading technology for missiles and all that. Of course, they're getting that. It didn't look good the first time around, no matter what they say. Now, don't get me wrong. The barrage of missiles, the hypersonics, some of those ballistic missiles that hit Israel. And they know the vulnerabilities now of Israel. They learned from that. That's scary too when you think about it. They know which ones to use, which ones worked, which ones didn't. That's never good. So there's many ways to look at this. Many ways. Chum loves to look here while we're doing this. Remember the decoy. Remember when Midnight Hammer happened? There was a decoy. People thought that there was something going over the Pacific. Meanwhile, it went over the Atlantic. I was like, oh! Tracking 6. P8 Poseidon's off Florida's coast. Something is brewing for sure. Off of Florida. Okay. Why? John, think. Why? Cuba's coming. Something might go off in Cuba very soon. That's why. Are the Russians in subs? If the Poseidons are out there, something's going on. That's something to watch, Cuba. That shit is about to hit the fan. That might be the next thing that hits the fan. It might even happen during the Iranian scenario. It's getting crazy over there. That could be a Cuba connection. I think tonight we'll see a decoy while the main force moves unseen. Then we might strike tomorrow night. I totally agree. I think tomorrow night's the night. I'm not saying that with certainty. I think tomorrow is the night. They can't put this off for too long. And remember what's happening in a few hours in Iran. They're going to be doing public execution by hanging a 26-year-old. And they're going to televise it. Yeah. Not just Colombia, Mexico too. Look, and I have statistics. I have actual government documents. I don't want to get off the topic, but I have documents that I downloaded that were United States government issued documents that they sent to Congress. Mexico is the main fucking player. With fentanyl, methamphetamines, heroin, cocaine. It's Mexico. Bottom line, yeah, China sends the precursors, the materials. Mexico is the one. Think about the border, Mexico. Human trafficking, Mexico. Money laundering, Mexico. The potential of sleeper cells here in the United States, where they're coming through mostly, Mexico. It's Mexico. I've been saying that shit for years. But that's going off a little bit, you know what I mean? We're going off a little bit off topic, but that is something to pay attention to. What's this now? Try get this transponder silent at Tehran. Why do you see flight radar? Because I'm looking at the civilian traffic I stopped here because I was showing something else. Because if I see these planes starting to divert, then you know something's about to go down because they're going to get the civilian traffic out of the way. And it shows you what they want you to see as far as military craft. And there's still traffic over Iran. If this shit changes and you start seeing flights divert and no flights coming into Iraq, over Iraq, then you know something's about to go down because they're clearing the airspace. It could be one indicator, as there's quite a bit to look at. This is just one, but not the only. Again, you have to try to get as many, how would I say this, clues to the possibility of something coming. Oh, that drone is going further than I thought it was going to go. That thing is covering the Persian Gulf completely. The Triton. And there's that. That's probably the Typhoon still in Qatar. Oh, there it is. That, who said that earlier? Was it John? There you go, John. Now this one's showing up. Fire 5. The F-15QA. Ah, you said it. You said it a few minutes ago. There it is. Yeah. And that's what I was just saying, KJ. KJ just said it in chat as I'm showing it. It's that and the Typhoons that have been popping up. But there it is. And let's not forget, it's also a Sunni Shia thing here too. There's no love lost between certain countries. The tribal factor involved, the factions involved. So let's remember that. They may say publicly in a statement, we condemn, we're against, and all this, but privately, what do you think they're saying to themselves? Wipe them out. I'm just saying. The tribalism factor in this. Wow, that drone is really on the move. And that thing, now I'm not saying that's its actual location because I don't trust that to that point. That's awfully close to Iran, but it's 50,000 feet up in the air. What's the Overlord? Let me see that. Come on, come on, come on. That is one piece of machinery, boy. That's impressive. What's the altitude? 46,000 feet? That thing is way up there. Yeah, I had my coffee. I don't want to get too wired because then I get jittery. And I'm smoking and I'm not supposed to be smoking. But at this point, it's hard not to smoke. I'll be honest. Don't smoke if you don't. Qatar, no, they kind of ally of Iran. Qatar actually plays, they're actually an ally of ours. It's like Turkey. Turkey's a NATO country, which I don't know how they're still NATO, but they still have relationships and they get military supplies from Russia. They play both sides. But you got to think about their own personal security. It's complicated. It's complicated. But look at Turkey. Look at Turkey's relationship with Israel. Not too good. Look at they are a NATO country. Turkey is a NATO country. And, they definitely play both sides, no? They play the two cards. Yes, they do. You're right about that. And they are. But Turkey is another, and that's another country that you can put it almost in that same context. Number one plane being tracked is a... Are you kidding me? A Star Wars wrapped airliner in Japan? Oh my gosh. Where did that come from? That came out of nowhere. A Star Wars. That's the most tracked plane on Flight Radar. A Star Wars wrapped plane near Japan? Go figure. Soon we're going to be hearing K-pop. Oh, man. So, as I was saying on a more serious note, supposedly This is what they announced, that they're going to start doing public executions Wednesday morning local time in Iran. Public hangings and televised on Iranian TV. Oh my God. That's why oh my God. These people, I mean, if they don't, I don't know what's going to happen here. Because if the regime stays intact, there's going to be so many people they're going to take it out on. If you think the numbers are bad now, and my friend said that the numbers are high, I would like to see if the president does somebody have Truth Social that is in chat right now? Right? So am I. I'm still shocked that Turkey is a NATO country. Can somebody check if they have Truth Social, if the president has posted anything? I know somebody said that he was going to do an address to the nation. I don't know about that. I can check. I don't. The only way that's going to happen is if after the fact. He's not going to do it before. I don't think that's happening. I'm checking. The Tesla. I remember when the Tesla went up in space. What was it, red? The red Tesla? Was it red? Estimated 20. Yes, I know. And not only that, Fast Wings, how many people have been arrested in Iran? We don't know. It's probably a lot worse than we think. No? I'm seeing and hearing all kinds of numbers. And even the president says we might have a better idea about the numbers within the next 24 hours. What does that mean? I don't know. Now, they may have assets on the ground that tries to provide them that information. It doesn't mean we're going to attack and then we're going to land and find out exactly how many people, because that's going to take time. You would think it might be with help of people, intelligence on the ground there now, kind of giving us an idea of what's going on, whether it's Mossad, CIA, or other intelligences. I don't know. I'm speculating 100%. As many of us are. We just don't know. Due to the lack of information coming out of the country. And then you see the videos of them going after the Starlinks? Oh my gosh. I know. I'm praying for these people too. And can't imagine. Can you imagine if you had family in that country right now and you don't know what the hell's going on? That has to be. Or even you have an American family member or a Canadian family member or whatever family member, because we don't know what the hell's going on. That would be, oh my God, that has to be horrific to go through that. That is horrific to even think about that. And like I live about 100 miles north of New York City. I used to live in the city. I'm so glad I got out 20 years ago. Well, with that being said, over here, it's quiet. It's rural. I've been living here 20 years. No felony I'm aware of has happened in my community. I'm fortunate. I feel pretty safe here. Thank God for that. With the people I love. A lot of us have it so good. But then you look at what people are going through. And, it's gut-wrenching. And if you're a person of faith, person of love, peace, compassion, the humanity aspect of it, how could you ignore this? If you did, If you have no feelings about what's going on here, then it's almost like being like a sociopath. How could this not affect you? Now, I get it that some people may say this has really nothing to do with us, but yes, it does. It does. For how many decades? Well, 79 really. Think of what it takes to put all these assets in place and the money it costs and putting our people at risk and everything that goes with it. With what's been going on for the last 47 years. And our bases have been hit. We've lost people. What happened in Lebanon? Who the fuck was behind that? I hate to use the word, I hate to curse, I apologize. But it upsets me. Who supplied those proxies? Some people said we shouldn't have been there. And you could also look at it, I'm just playing all sides here right now. Why should we should be designated as the world police? There's so many ways, so many opinions, and everybody has a valid opinion on whatever their opinion is. Because there's a lot of ways to look at this. But for me personally, I pray for the people of Iran. I hope they get their freedom and their democracy. Because think about what it was like 50 years ago. Flourishing. And yes, people say, well, the Shah wasn't too great of a person. He was a dictator. Well, compare that to what's going on now. Really? What's that? I'm missing something here now. I gotta read the chat. Yeah, it is I don't want to say it. Well, I'm not on TikTok. It is. I'm trying to catch up. Wow, work 95 hours a week, so very much want to work as hard here, and I do. You know what? When you work and you work for something, it feels so good to work for something, and it gives you that sense of pride, accomplishment. It's a feel-good thing, and it also makes you more secure financially and for your families, the people you love, and all that. Of course, I mean, I work for the last 8 months. I've been working 7 days a week for what I do. I actually caught a break for a little bit because I'm in transition. But this is not about me. It bugs me in such a weird way it cannot be described. Having family from that region, I cannot express the want, no need for them to win. I'm trying to read. Yes, Iran even flew Tomcats, yeah. I'm trying to read. I don't want to read it out loud. I just want to read the context first. Yeah, it's such, look, like I said, I used to live in the city the majority of my life. It's so different than living here for 20 years. Oh, it's totally different. Way different. And I could explain that in another stream. I'm not doing it now, but there are so many different, it's crazy. I know what Dusty does. You guys might have something in common. Yeah, the lesser of the two. The thing you got to consider when you go to a small rural community, because I'm not that far from the mall or, to go shopping or to the doctor. You have to consider all those things too, because I was going to get a house in the remote Catskill Mountains. But then I said to myself, damn, that's going to be a pain in the you-know-what to go shopping. I have my mom here. She's up there. She's giving me a hard time the last couple of weeks to go to the doctor. Finally, I got her to go to the doctor, thank God. But you have to think about those things too. God forbid there's an emergency. What's the nearest hospital? You got to think about all those things. And keep an eye on that air traffic. It looks solid. I don't think anything's going to happen tonight or this morning. I think it's going to happen maybe tomorrow night, or who knows? I can't say. I say that every day. I think it's going to happen tomorrow. Is tonight the night? Well, it looks like I'm going to wake up tomorrow at noon, start streaming in the morning, and doing this all over again. The commando landed, Andy. And Andy, if you hear anything, you got me on Teams. Message me if you hear anything, because I know you're in the UK and it's getting late for you. It's still kind of early for you, like almost 1 a.m. But still. Oh heck yeah, they better use the hypersonic. And look, Israel's on highest alert right now. They're gonna unleash everything they can out of an act of desperation. That's what we got to be careful of. I spent my journeys within LA. Once I got cut out of the military, I quickly moved to Montana. Most beautiful, wonderful place. Like I said, I lived in the Bronx. I was born in Manhattan. I lived in the Bronx almost all my life, but in a good part, a really nice part. My father had a boat, grew up on a boat, marina, that whole deal. Beautiful place where I was. But still, it's the city. And the one thing about the city is congestion. People are and I'm going to be honest, people are fucking rude. They can be obnoxiously rude. Try taking the subway every day to go to work or to travel, and you'll see congested like a sardine can. I used to wear sunglasses because I used to always want to watch everything going on while I'm on the subway. And they can't see where your eyes are moving to, so I always wore sunglasses on the train, always. Because I wanted to see around me peripherally what the fuck is... I don't want to curse, but I used to get so pissed off on the trains in New York City. And everybody's up in your business. You could go out at any time, and there's always people out. There's no privacy. Even if you had a house on a block, you know, the houses are here, 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 here. And there's still people everywhere. Not as many, but there's still people there all the time. If I open my door, I don't know if my light is on. It is. If I open my door, it went from that to black, darkness, quiet, peaceful. You don't see cars going through the front of my house, right? That's because then there is none. It's a long driveway that comes. I live in the back by the woods. What a difference. So I get what you said. Who wrote that? Moving to Montana. When you said that, it almost reminded me of the movie Hunt for Red October. I'd like to go. What did he say? Montana and find a wife. Remember? Is that what he said? Montana. Don't tell me you got that from Red October. What's up, Marco? Bill, where I grew up, not walk from the kitchen window into the neighbor's house. Yeah. It was, and you know what the worst was? Living in those townhouses where they share a wall. I would never. I ain't sharing no wall with anybody. I want my house to be by itself, not where I could bang and the neighbor hears me, or my sound, the neighbor can hear what's going on in this house because we share a wall and they're on the other side. Hell no, no. Or downstairs, there's somebody else, I'm upstairs, and no. But you know, not everybody can do that. And I understand that. I will say this, wherever we live is our palace. That's our space. Doesn't matter if you're in an apartment, in a studio apartment, I don't care. That's still your space. All right, let me get back to the topic because I went completely off. Yes. And that's a whole thing too, the faith. Don't get me started. I cannot swear in front of my mother or I'm done. Done. And she won't stop. So, you know, that's definitely, faith is a big part of it for many people of all faith. Every 90 million people there are waiting. I know. And I know there are sympathizers of the regime because they might have some kind of a connection to the regime. You know, that, or they are, you know, for whatever reasons, I get that. But I think the vast majority of the Iranian people want this regime to fall and have Reza Pahlavi come back into the country, bring democracy, and I say this as a republic of Iran, to have a parliament similar to the UK setup, where you can still have the king, the monarchy of the king, have that, but at the same time have a democratic system, a parliament elected by the people. And I think that's what he's going to do. Because there's a lot of people out there saying, you got to see what Rudy Giuliani said about, because he's MEK. It was, he's calling them crooks. The whole Pahlavi is crooks. And I was like, wow, Giuliani's in the MEK's pocket or something, because I didn't expect that. Goldie mentioned it. I don't know if she mentioned Giuliani, but I saw his post the last few days. I was like, oh my gosh, Giuliani's going after Pahlavi. And he posted it. I was like, whoa. He's going in heavy against them. The whole family. That's why I say them. The whole family. I was like, oh my gosh. Rudy, what's going on? So I'm actually going to bring this up. Because I don't know if they're covering that part of it. She mentioned it. But I don't know if she went into detail about it. I was like, whoa. Because he put out a tweet, he removed it. Because he must have got a lot of flack from it. And then he made another tweet referring to what he had posted. Because somebody said, oh, you never were threatened by the Iranian regime or anything. And then he came out with some stuff. Hold on, let me see. Hold on. I'm looking for it. Oh yeah, this was, see, this post is unavailable. He did take it down. He did take it down. He removed the post. The post is on. So this was him responding to a post that he had put up. And this post is unavailable. And this was what he reacted to. Because he was defending himself that he hasn't been targeted. Then he put this article showing, I have been targeted twice by Iran. Attaches the attempt in France. Earlier in the year, there was a similar attempt in Tirana, Albania. Just two of the lies in this attack by those trying to restore the crooked and brutal Pahlavi family so they can steal even more from the Iranian people. I was like, oh my gosh. And then after he had made his original post, Grok corrected him like so many times. This is false. This is false. This is false. A lot of what Giuliani had said was false. Now, Grok does make mistakes. But I was like, what? But he has connections with the MEK. But I was like, whoa. Because I was looking into it. You know, I was like, whoa. So, yeah. And it was like, he went after them hard. Actually, he went after Reza Pahlavi hard. Then he removed the post. You can see it's no longer available. I was like, oh, what did I stumble onto? And obviously you see where he sits and what he thinks about Pahlavi. So, you know, you're going to have all kinds of stuff out there. But you see a lot of positive support for the Iranian people from many people. I won't say the Democrats because they only go so far. Because of course it's Trump. You know, they're not. But even Newt Gingrich, Tom Cotton, of course Rubio, Ted Cruz, Lindsey Graham. I mean, it goes on. And definitely Republican support. And I'm not trying to bring politics into it. I'm just stating the fact of what I've been seeing on X. That's all I'm doing. I'm not trying to make this a political thing. I'm just telling you from the things I've seen posted by politicians on X, that's what I'm seeing literally with their tweets, posts, whatever you want to call it. And, it's coming from them directly. And it's not third source, it's second source. It's coming from them. That drone is still doing its thing. It is going up the entire coast. Look at that. It will turn around when it gets to the Pakistani border. It'll probably start heading back. Remember, this thing could stay in the air for 24 plus hours. The MQ-4C Triton. So that's going to be up there for a minute. And what is the altitude? Let me get rid of this filter. I just messed it up. What is it, like at 40-something thousand feet? Yeah, 46,000 feet. That's way up there. Impressive piece of machinery. And you can see light is coming. Light is coming. It's not happening this morning. It's not. I think we all pretty much assumed that. And a lot of people were making great points in YouTube chat. Excellent perspectives, excellent opinions by many of you. Right on the money. Right on. Great analysis of what you guys are discussing in that chat. BBC coming in hot in Qatar. No contact, only news. That's gotta be. I'm sorry, I'm just catching up to your chats now. What's our drone doing? Oh, okay. Yeah, I just showed you what the drone is doing right here. It's patrolling the Persian Gulf. It's keeping remember what this thing does. Remember what this drone does. This is a badass piece of equipment right here. It's as simple as that. Early detection. And it goes into a little detail up here, I believe. Right there. Where was it talking about what it can detect? I'm skimming. Oh, here. Triton builds on the Northrop Grumman's autonomy and HALE leadership to provide unmatched, persistent maritime surveillance, early warning to missile threats, and detection and targeting from standoff range. The aircraft can operate collaboratively with crewed platforms, so a squadron, planes in the air, across domains through the intelligent and timely exchange of data, so fast. Triton's ultra-long endurance and domain awareness also makes it ideal for a wide range of homeland defense missions. So this is one mean piece of machinery in the air right now. And it's Navy. This is what you want. Going over the Persian Gulf, Strait of Hormuz. This is what you want. And it's at a very high altitude. Good luck. Good luck. So that's why they have it there, which is a great move. It's a great move. It would be illogical for a U.S. strike during light. Absolutely, that is ridiculous. The strategic value of a strike would be at night. It's not happening today. Well, this morning in Iran. What is it, 4:40, like 4:40 a.m. in Iran right now? Alexa, what time is it in Iran?
It's 4:39 a.m. in Iran right now.
Yeah, 4:40. It ain't happening. It's not going to happen. If anything, we got to do this every night now. Is it going to happen tomorrow night? Is it going to happen tonight? Tomorrow I'll say that. Is it going to happen tonight? Everybody's doing that. Is it going to happen tonight? Don't you think cyber attack is going to be part of this too? Cripple them as much as possible before the strikes actually occur? Wouldn't that make sense? It's not just going to be on one front. It's going to be multiple fronts going on. It's not just going to be one thing. You're going to have a whole bunch of things going on at the same time. Does that not make sense? So, like I said, we'll keep an eye on this. And even though, because you're not going to, you're not going to see on Flight Radar what they don't want you to see. That's obvious. But like I keep saying, if you have Flight Radar, even if it's the free version, I would say keep an eye on the air traffic, because once you see civilian planes, keep clear of the area. Okay, come on. When you start to see these planes being diverted, because whatever they said about the air traffic, the airspace being closed in Iran is false. There's a lot of air traffic over Iran right now. Now, that does not mean that most airlines have stopped flying into Iranian airports. That's different. But there's still a lot of air traffic going over the country. It's one thing about the airports. Airlines are saying, oh, we're not taking the risk. We're not flying into Iran. Yeah, that's one thing. It's another thing to say that the airspace is closed, because obviously it is not. There's still a lot of traffic over Iran. And look at eastern Iraq. There's a lot of air traffic out there. You will see that shit go bye-bye. Because like I said, and I'll say it again, the first reaction is going to be, if something goes off and we do something here, is Iran going to start launching missiles toward Israel? What happens to this airspace? You think they're going to have civilian traffic there? And risk an accident? Do you realize the ramifications of such an accident and the blame? And oh my gosh, that's the last thing anybody wants. To make it, no way. So this is another thing. And like I said, I hate to bring this up. I really do. I hate to bring this up. Actually, from Istanbul, only Iranian local flights go back from Iran. The UAE does a lot of flights over Iran. Turkey does, like you said, Istanbul, does a lot of flights. Of course, Russia. China. Pakistan. There are quite a few airlines that go over Iran. Excuse me. I'm just going to pick one. Abu Dhabi. Look, Moscow, Russia. UAE. I don't even have to click on them. Stop that. UAE does a lot of flying over Iran. UAE. Because I've been using this for quite some time, so I don't know that one. The KA. Who's that? Who is KA? It's not showing me. Okay, there we go. India. See? You could tell, the airlines that travel over it, and definitely a lot of Turkish Airways. A lot of Turkey. A lot. The NATO country that should not be, in my opinion. There we go. Turkey. And you'll see some coming in from Shanghai, China. I've seen actually one land in Tehran. What was it, 2 days ago? I was like, oh shit. The Russians and Chinese are still doing their thing in Iran. Now who knows what they're bringing in or taking out. They may be taking out tons of money. The Ayatollah's money is being funneled out. Who knows what the hell is going on. Or are they bringing in support? UAE. That's probably Ethiopia. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that is. But you see that you could see the countries. UAE is everywhere. Turkey's everywhere. Russia, India. The ones that have a friendlier relationship with Iran. So it's the typical ones. It's not surprising. But the other airlines, they take a different path here. A lot of UAE. A lot of UAE. And another... excuse me. You'd be surprised. A lot of Saudi planes go over this area too. A lot of them are going north to Moscow, to Russia. So again, we need to watch this air traffic. Look at all that air traffic in eastern Iraq. That's a lot. So don't be fooled by the stuff that you see or hear through media or platforms. Do your own research and look into it yourselves. Do you know what I mean? Don't buy into, because a lot of it could be misinformation on purpose. And, you know, you don't want to be gullible and naive to fall into that trap. I'm just saying. I haven't seen any news, because I'm not paying attention. Obviously, I'm doing this. And I'm assuming the president did not go and address the nation like the rumor was. There's another example. Is the president, did he go on TV at 8 p.m. Eastern? Did he? No? That's a perfect example. They turned the drone turned its transponder off. I'm not surprised. Yep, it did. We got to get rid of that because that's the plane we were just tracking. I wonder where that one's heading back to now. I don't know, it's glitching a little bit. It's still showing the civilian. Where is this C-17 headed? It's not going to tell us. It's not going to tell us its destination. But I'm still doing it. Come on. Why is it acting glitchy? What the hell? Oh, okay. Yeah, 17. Okay, that's where. Let's see if any activity is coming from Europe, Ireland, UK, Germany. It would show it. As far as the 17s, Hercules, all that. Okay, here's one. Where's this? What's the altitude? Did it land already? Wow, it's acting really slow. Oh yeah, look at the altitude. It's coming in. It's gonna be coming down soon. If that number drops. Yep, see it? It's going down. So this is about to land. What is this one? Come on. It's acting up. I may have to refresh. Yeah, let's refresh. This is acting a little glitchy. Globe Master. It's another one. Okay. Wow. This thing is really acting up. And my computer's running great, so I don't know why it's doing that. That's a little better. So yeah, and again, like somebody asked, they're only going to show you what they want you to see. Like remember this drone, this MQ-4C? Yesterday there was another one of them going south to north, right along Ukraine into Lithuania, and then coming back. I tracked one yesterday doing that. So not much to see. The drone is probably still transponder off. This is either an F-15. Yep, that's the F-15 in Qatar, just sitting there. So yeah, we're not seeing much. And I don't expect to see much. Okay, let's see what's going on in chat. We should also bear in mind... All right, hold on. The news has been suspiciously quiet. Yeah, that's true. I do have to check Telegram, a few other things. I think we should also bear in mind for an operation of this level, is Trump going to use tech we haven't seen before? Is this the era? Wow, that's a really excellent point. You saw what happened in Venezuela, right? The sonic, similar to the Cuba thing. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true, but there's a lot of talk about that. Yeah, it's unprecedented. What's scary is about the AI with information. That is really bad. There was an Israeli drone that left Malta, and if that's a concern or not, seeing okay. It is an excellent point. You're all making great points. And you look, has the mainstream media in general, because I don't watch it, I do not. I mean, are they starting to talk about it more now? What took them so long? And are they showing what they should be showing? What's the things that are coming out? I can't even show you guys the stuff that I've been seeing on X. It is so bad. It is so, and I'm not on TikTok, so I'll just say it. The body bags. There was a video that was so freaking graphic, I almost got sick to my stomach. And KJ and I was watching a movie with Nick. I'm bringing it up because if I see something, I actually physically get ill. I had to stop a movie. We were watching Terrifier 3. That movie was so disturbing, I had to shut it off. I got ill. I actually got physically freaking ill from watching that movie. I had to take care of business in a bad way. I saw stuff that made me feel just as bad today. And it was a young woman, and she was dead, and her face was like not there. It was fucking horrific. And, you know, it makes you emotional. You see that, you know, oh my, it is so horrible what's going on. Horrible. Okay, something about a flight. Probably somebody something information about SpaceX. SpaceX, and this is off topic, but SpaceX really needs to get their Starship in order. This shit Elon's got to get this going, and he will. Oh, he's talking about Blue Origin. Okay, that's Bezos. I'm about to check my Telegram because a lot of the information I get on Telegram is coming from Israel. Let me put my glasses on. Let's see what the Israeli news is saying, if anything. They might be super quiet too because nobody wants to say anything. They're waiting on Trump. Yeah. Amir Sarfati is one. I'm not going to just say who I follow, but now here's the other side. This is the other side, okay? I follow one Telegram that is from the other side to see what they're putting out there. Do you want me? Should I? I don't even like to read the propaganda coming from the other side, but at the same time, it gives you an idea where they're sitting and coming from their perspective. And I don't like to spread the propaganda from the other, but to be fair, so that you can hear what the hell they're saying from the other side. This was posted this afternoon by this site. The commander of the Aerospace Force in the IRGC, Mahid Mousavi, states, quote, "The missile force is at the highest levels of defensive readiness and is prepared to confront any aggression. We will respond firmly and forcefully to any evil against the Iranian people." What do you mean the Iranian people? You mean the fucking regime. Iranian people. Give me a break. This one is nothing, and the IDF. I have the IDF too. I checked. This is something that happened in Gaza. So nothing from the ones that I get on Telegram, quiet. Quiet. Except for the other side putting stuff out there. And like I said, I don't like to, but I think it's important that you hear what the other side is saying too. The rhetoric. You know, I don't like to do that, but I think so people to understand. I want to see what they. And they put this out. Russian Foreign Ministry. Hostile foreign powers are trying to destroy Iran as a nation state. Really? Oh my God. You got to see the disgusting images they're sharing on this platform. Wow, this is a surprise that they put. Lebanese Foreign Minister Youssef Raji. As long as Hezbollah doesn't disarm, Israel has the right to continue its attacks. So all of a sudden, the Lebanese foreign minister, and this is coming from the other side's platform, I'm surprised they put that there. It's like they're legitimate, oh my, I can't say the word, I'm so tired. They're saying that Israel has the right to hit Hezbollah targets, coming from the Lebanese foreign minister. So there's a little turn there. Look at this. I don't even want to. This is disgusting. New. Iran has published footage from eliminated rioters at a morgue in Tehran. It's so fucking graphic. I don't even want to show you. It's disgusting. The images that they're putting out of the bodies. Oh my God. I don't even want to look at that. So they're trying to scare the people. By putting that out there and showing all the bodies. On Telegram, do you really want me? I don't know if you want me to tell you, Crafter, on Telegram what it is? I'll type it in. I'm not going to say it. I agree with you, Dusty. I agree with you. And that Qatar base is going to be significant. I don't know how much the Saudi role is going to be in this, or Bahrain, or other points, but I think that Qatar base is big time. And we also don't know the positions of subs and other assets in the area. Of course, we shouldn't. We should not know that. Well, it can't be them. No cruel. It can't be them. No one has internet on Iran. I'm just wondering if I mistook in the oppressive group as it. Yeah, Mom's fine, Mo. She went to the doctor. It was a horrible thing to get Mom to the doctor today. It was crazy, but she did go. Crafter, I don't know if you want that account that I was looking on Telegram from the other side. I don't know if that's what you were referring to. But I'm not going to say it. I would type it and then remove it because I don't even want to promote it. You know what I mean? Yes, Shelby, if you can put that in English so everybody can understand. You know? Another thing that somebody posted this on X, I found it interesting. And I don't know how you can tell people, but I got her point, is that there are a lot of people waving Israeli flags alongside with the people standing up for the people of Iran with the lion and the sun. And she's saying, stop flying the Israeli flag alongside of them because it looks like Israel is behind this. That was kind of her point. I could see that point. But I also can see the solidarity between the people because there was a time that there was a relationship between Iran and Israel. That people, I don't understand how people don't recall or remember that being that way. But because maybe they weren't born or weren't around, I was a baby. I mean, I don't know. But I don't know. I think people should be able to show their support regardless. You know? I would not dictate somebody to tell them not to do something or to do something. Who am I to tell people what to do or not to do? That's up to the individual. If that's what they want to do and that's their passion and they feel that they need to do that, then go do it. Yeah, before 79. The F-15 is moving. It does move on the tarmac. It does move around, but it doesn't go up in the air. I've not seen it go up in the air. I'd be shocked if it does. I would be shocked. And what actually? Yeah, you see how it moves around? Now this one just took off. Where's this? Oh, it's going back. Wait, whoa. Oh yeah, it just took off again. The Hercules just took off again. I'm not saying it's the same one. It was X. Did they refuel it that fast and got it back up in the air? It seems like they did. It's got the same call letter. See, this wasn't here before. This is a refuel. This is definitely a tanker. Yeah. We didn't see that one before. And ooh, there I am. Here I am. Did the drone come back up? Yep, the drone's back up. The MQ-4C Triton. Overlord 1. It's back up. I'm telling you, that is such a piece of impressive equipment. This right here, that's what's flying right now. That's the drone. Wow. We should ask. I'm just going to ask. Alexa, how much does it cost for an MQ-4C Triton drone?
Looking up at drone price. Showing results for MQ-4C Triton drone. The first one is MQ-4C Triton Military UAV Drone American Flag Throw Pillow. It's $21.99.
Oh my God, it's telling me about the pillow. Oh my gosh. You can't make that up. You can't make that up. This sucker's expensive. That's one thing we know. That thing must cost hundreds of millions of dollars. For one, I would guess. It doesn't look cheap, does it? Does anybody even know? Crafter. Damn near alien tech. Oh my gosh. And I'm not, I'm a person that has a sense of humor to a point. Because even when I was hospitalized, when I had a heart attack, I was streaming from the hospital. That's my way of dealing with things. That is my adaptive coping response. But it's not a funny situation. We know that. This is deadly serious, literally. Especially for those Iranian people. And if those numbers are true, I'm waiting for the president. Please, if somebody has True Social, because I do not, and I should pay for it and get it, let me know if the president makes any more statements. Is Lindsay saying anything new? He's been talkative. He said in a speech, I watched him do a speech the other night for a fundraiser. He goes, I haven't eaten in 3 or 4 nights thinking that tonight will be the night. He's a character. Regardless of what you think of Lindsay, he's a character. And I know a lot of people bash him for certain reasons. 1 hour ago. Oh, he's talking about Ukraine right now. Well, where'd that come from? See, it's coming from all angles. Okay. This is economic. This was 5 hours ago. This one was already out there. So nothing new from Lindsay. Lindsay's quiet right now. Lindsay's quiet right now. Oh my gosh. You can only imagine. All right, I got to get flight radar back. I've got so many windows open, I'm scared. I have 4 monitors, so it's a little tricky when I do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, look at daylight. The sun rising soon. It's already starting. Full daylight soon. So I don't think anything's happening this morning. But the thing that's scary, and I'm going to take this off the screen for a minute. My God. And I don't even know if because you can get access to the Iranian TV. I don't know if I want to watch that shit that they're going to do tomorrow morning in a few hours. I don't even want to. And I'm going to put an article. And that's why I thought maybe they might do something so that they would prevent this from happening. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen. And this is horrific. So he is set to be executed tomorrow, or in a few hours. He was detained Thursday, and there was no information about him for days before authorities called the family and said that they had arrested their son and he will be executed on Wednesday, meaning tomorrow, or, you know. And these fuckers are going to televise it, and they're going to do it in public. And I don't know if it's going to mention it here. This is horrific. A public hanging, and they're going to televise it. That is... Tariq 130 plane exits from several bases. Worst place you've ever been to is Sudan. Oh, that's... But again, there are so many countries that, you know, this is the problem. The mainstream media here in the States just doesn't show what's going on. I mean, like I said, I haven't been paying attention. Are they even covering the atrocities going on in Iran? Or now they are? I don't know. I haven't been watching. Oh my God, I add beef to it with a lot of spices. I see what you guys are talking about. Al Khobar Alud base is taking off a plane now. I hated Kuwait because it was where they were... Oh my gosh! I am really good at cooking, by the way. You guys are making me hungry talking about food. Host, are you Rebel Alliance or Empire? Oh my God! Definitely not with the Empire. Well, now you're probably going to say, well, then are you associating yourself as the United States? Are you saying the United States is the evil empire? Let's put that into a little context now. Look behind me. Star Destroyer. I mean, there's some models up there that I made. A lot of Star Trek stuff, though. I'm just reading your posts. You show love with the food. You know, that's the one thing I go to a lot of, and I'm not saying anything I know. Yeah, those are the two that. So the Stratotanker is landing in Qatar right now, and the Hercules just took off, and the drone is still flying. There's nothing else. So, but that's the one thing I love to do is go to different festivals and trying out the food and listening to the music and experiencing that culture. I love doing that. Love it. The Greek fest, German, Celtic, Indian. I go to all of them, as many as I can, whenever they're around. I've been to powwows. I try to go to as many as possible just to experience it. Because you learn. You learn more about the culture. And I'm going to tell you, everyone I've gone to, the people were friendly, welcoming. That's just my own experience, though. The news from inside Iran called people, yeah. They're calling them all terrorists, yeah. But again, you love the Russian food fests, some amazing food at Slavic. I've never been to a Russian one. My grandmother was Lithuanian. My dad's Italian. Mom's Puerto Rican, and she's a feisty one at that. And I have Native American because of the Puerto Rico connection. So I've got a lot of things going on. I've got English, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, interesting that politics tell us it's a party, but they all. So I wouldn't party with any of them. Would you trust? They got to get rid of lobbyists. They got to get rid of lining their pockets. Yeah, I am, Dusty. I'm a mutt, as the definition of mutt as you can get. There's no doubt about that. Bill, I really feel confident this strike or whatever it comes after Friday night because of the markets, yeah. I agree with you on that. And it's true. When did Venezuela happen? Yeah, I agree with you on that. And there's other reasons too, allowing other countries to get their people out as soon as possible. Also, getting more logistical support and assets in the area before they do anything. There's a lot of reasons. I agree with you on that. It may not happen till the weekend. But as we wait day to day, hundreds, if not, who knows how many more are either dying or getting arrested in Iran. So there's a heavy price to pay every day that goes by for the Iranian people. Let's not forget that. Because they are, oh my God. And that's another thing. I did bring that up. Let me bring my screen back down. And I'm going to get off soon because tomorrow's another day. I don't want to waste anybody's time here. I'm not like some of these other platforms that talk forever and regurgitate the same shit over and over when there's no need for that. This is definitely a value for that point that you just made. Who said that? Somebody mentioned it. Dusty. Or was it you, Dusty, that said it? No, it's Deep Story. I agree with you because this would be in coordination with anything else that could go on. And I said this earlier. Before the Venezuelan strike occurred, they launched one of these drones from Jacksonville, Florida, and flew it into the Caribbean, off the coast of Venezuela, and then it went back to Jacksonville. Not 48 hours later, boom. Or it can be held at the same time because that will detect early missile launches and anything else that goes on in real time, pretty much. In tandem with anything that they do. It can be in coordination with, or it can be doing surveillance before they do anything. So again, we can all guess and make assumptions. It's all legitimate. Everything you guys are saying is absolutely legitimate, except for the people talking about food, because now they're making me hungry. The market is so stretched. Let's say the strike hits Iran spikes oil. A lot of economies are ruined. Absolutely, especially the Asian. You're so right about that, because if they were to sink ships in the Strait of Hormuz and choke off the oil supply, that's 20% oil supply. Absolutely. And that would be one of the things they would want to do. And that's why you had that drone watching, because they think they would do something like that. Definitely. Who said that? Absolutely correct. And you know what? Again, what's up, Oreo? Respect is important, even though we have difference of opinions. Thank God we live in a country where we can express ourselves under the Constitution. Thank God for that. And I would put everybody's comments out there, because everybody has a different opinion. You may not like their opinion, but I think people have the right to voice their opinion. Unless it's disrespectful and it's obviously, then that's a different story. And I'm going to have to make some of you some mods, because we're going to need mods in here. You know what I mean? We're going to need some mods, because just because everything's nice, cool, collective right now does not mean you know that if and when things do happen, you're going to have a lot of people trying to troll. You know that. Welcome back, Bean. And let me say hello to everybody publicly. So Dusty, and I don't know if I'm comfortable saying your whole thing, because I don't want people to know your whole user thing, to put, because people are, you know how people are. Soriano. Yeah, they're not going to attack in the sunlight. Oh my God. Rabja? Oh no. Oh my God, is that? I can't see I need my reading glasses. I'll just say hangirl. Bean. And I may mispronounce, and I apologize if I do. Shroot? He's still probably going to say Bill. Wrong. And I expect it. Let's see who else is in here right now. Mark. I'm trying to scroll up a little bit now. John. Caged. Deep Story. All of you that are tuning in right now. And trust me, please do not, and I say this sincerely, do not do super chats. We don't do that here. No need for that. Because I'm gonna put everybody's opinion out there. There's no like only super chat gets attention bullshit. End of Times, KJ, of course. All of you that are in there. It's hard for me to scroll up. Shanem? Alil? All of you. I'm trying to scroll up to catch up. But all of you. And of course, Oreo's over there. I don't know if Marco's still there on the other YouTube channel. So I'm streaming to 2 YouTube channels. I did not put Rumble chat up because I rushed. I wonder if anything's going on in Rumble chat. Oops. And I apologize to those who are watching on Rumble because I got caught up. All right, there's more craft going up. What is that one? That looks like a C-17. Breaking news. Actor Kiefer Sutherland arrested and accused of assaulting. What? What? What did Kiefer do? It just popped up. That's how I get some of my news. What's up, Shane? And I don't want to say your old names because, like I said, I don't want you guys to get targeted by assholes. And I'll just be straight up. Because I don't want to do that. I don't want to throw anybody into that position. Was arrested and being accused of assaulting and threatening a rideshare driver in L.A. Officers responded to a report of an assault around 12:15 a.m. Monday and found Sutherland physically assaulted the driver and made criminal threats. He has to go to court on February 2nd. What the heck did he do? Oh my gosh. You had hip surgery? Well, I hope you recover as soon as possible. I'll never forget when I had rotator cuff surgery, and that was brutal. Oh my God, 18 months. No joke. It started from, well, I don't know if anybody knows, and I'm getting off topic, but I had to stay on a recliner for like a couple of weeks. Then I had to stay on the couch with my arm in one position to sleep. And then the physical therapy, it took me like 6 months to get to here. And then like a year to get to here. And then 18 months I had free. It was a nightmare. A nightmare. So I feel for you, whoever said about the hip surgery. Oh my gosh. Repair torn labrum. Oh my God. We're all like walking around like, oh. Anyway, so getting back on topic a little bit. Because like I said, I'm not going to waste all of your time. Everybody's time is precious. Yeah, that's what I thought that was. Did that come in, C-17? It actually just took off. And there's the drone. There's the Hercules going back out. The tanker just landed. Daylight is coming. So they're not going to hit during the day. No, 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 no. It's not happening in daylight. No. So what do I got going on tomorrow? So Iran is 8.5 hours ahead of me. So if at noon I start, unless something else happens, that would be 8:30 in Iran. I'm going to shoot for noon tomorrow Eastern, because then it'll be nightfall again in Iran. But despite that all being said, what Shroot said in chat about the markets, it might happen during the weekend and allowing people to get out of the country and allowing us to get all the logistical support we need in the region. It makes sense on so many levels that this wouldn't happen till the weekend. Just saying. I'm not saying that that's a fact. I'm just saying it makes more sense for so many reasons. But we don't know. Because thankfully, our president is unpredictable. Not like past administrations that were predictable or would announce their intentions. And I don't say, again, I'm just saying that from a realistic point of view, because I am an independent. I'll put that right there. I look at things objectively. And we've seen red lines drawn before. Empty. Empty. Nothing. This is what makes President Trump different. Don't call his bluff. Don't do it. Hey, Marco Rubio says, when the president says something, he means it. I wouldn't want to. Don't, and obviously it's a very tough position for our president to be in right now, to consider all the options and the consequences of those actions. And he's got to think about protecting our troops, especially on the ground in our bases. And also the ramifications it has in the region, specifically Israel. And of course, ultimately, the people of Iran. So, could you imagine really being in the president's shoes right now? Honestly, could you imagine being the one to have to make that decision? I don't care who you are. I don't care what party you are. For a president of the United States to make a decision, a call right now, whatever he decides, that's a lot on that man's shoulders. A lot. And we should consider that. He is a human being after all. You know, and that is got to be oh my God, what a decision he has to make. The implications are so widespread. You know? You guys are making me feel like I need to go to physical therapy now. This is so hard. He's got a lot to plan around. It is. This is. And meanwhile, the people of Iran are pleading for us to help. Literally, on the streets. Please, President Trump, help us. And if he's watching news sources, he's seeing this. And obviously he's getting intelligence and he's got people keeping him up to date of what's going on. Could you imagine all these things going on in one person's head? All this stuff coming from all over the place and have to process and determine. That's a lot for the commander-in-chief to endure. Period. And he doesn't sleep much. But my gosh, could you imagine being Melania? I mean, trying to, there's only so much she knows, but still seeing his mental state, trying to be there as his wife to help support him. And again, regardless of what you think of the president or not, this is a human factor. This is not political, what I'm saying. This is the human factor. Human. It's tough. And Marab, there's no doubt I'm going to do whatever I can to put the word out on my end to help support the Iranian people. There's no doubt. And I did order the lion and sun flag. It'll be up. It's going to take a week, but absolutely. 47 years of oppression, intimidation, cruelty. These people want their freedom. And it's up to them to make the determination for their own country. And you know, you're going to have, and I'll say this and I'm going to get off because, like I said, tomorrow's another day. Anybody could say from whatever country you belong from and make judgments and opinions. It's up to the people of Iran. It's their future. It's their country. They're putting their lives at stake. They're risking everything. And if you've seen the videos coming out when the regime is shooting at them, do you see them running for cover? They know what's at stake. And they're willing to sacrifice for freedom with their own lives. How could you not see that as such an honorable, noble cause for them, for their freedom, for democracy? And what, the world is going to ignore it or criticize it because they don't agree about the politics of it, that Iran may become a democracy again and not be what it is now? Oh, too bad for you. These people want their freedom. They don't want to live under that pressure, especially the youth. You could see the youth. They want to see a future in Iran of peace, prosperity, getting along with their neighbors. We have so much more in common than not. And just like anything else, there are boundaries. We all have boundaries. But it's also about respect. And we have different cultures and respect of the differences of culture. But my God. And I would love to get a person, because I had somebody here earlier who went to school in Tehran during the 70s before 79. And she said it was beautiful and the people were kind. She was on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok right now. And I'll just say her name was Mom. I'm not going to say the whole thing. And she was telling me how amazing it was, her experience in Iran as a student, an American student in Iran in the mid-70s. I would love to have, at some point, a person from Iran or someone who's lived in Iran and have them speak out. We don't hear enough from them. We hear from people from the outside, looking inward. And obviously communication is definitely an issue right now, and it would be pretty difficult to establish some type of communication at the moment. That's obvious. But that doesn't mean there are people that left Iran due to the situation that could actually tell us through their own lenses and experience without revealing their name or protecting them. Tell us from their own perspective. Because everybody's just, reaching out to some opinion like myself. I'm included. It would be nice to hear from the people themselves. That's all I'm saying. Their voice needs to be heard. Because people are making judgments. They need their voice heard, especially now. And I'm going to read up the last of the comments. Yeah, why do poor people always have to be sacrificed? Because they're literally fighting for their freedom. Think of past. Think how many people have given up their life for freedom. Because people without means have to do everything themselves. There are no proxies. If it has to be done, they have to do it. I believe we do not need to be anything except just human. And we are all part of the human community. I said that earlier. Alex, that's a great point. We're all part of the human family. Like I said, we have so much more in common than not. And we should work on that and build those bridges. And respect when we don't. And that's okay. That's what makes us individuals. That's what makes us different. And that's okay. Yeah, but now they're going after the people with the Starlinks. I saw the raids in some houses and stuff. It's bad. The regime is going in. I've seen videos. It's horrific. 3 minutes ago, Trump posted, end of times. I don't know if it's going to be on X. I don't have True Social. I got to get True Social. I don't know why I don't have it. That might end right now. Let me create an account. Do this quick. What did he say? Exactly. Dusty's saying it too. What did the president say? I'm going to try to do this right now. While you guys... Even with Starlink, there are jamming it. Yep. What's up, C? Hold on. Let me do this. Next. Phone number. Yes, I agree. A code was just sent. If you don't think I'm really doing it, I'm really doing it. This username is taken. I bet you this one isn't. Oh my God, are you serious? Come on. I didn't think that username was taken. I don't want to put, I mean, that's, now I got to try to think of a freaking username. Oh, that one works. Oh, I got to do a lowercase. Okay. Next. I can't believe how much I've been smoking. I didn't smoke that much today, but account created. Allow. Okay, we don't need to do all this right now. Skip this stuff. Photo and all that shit right now. Donald J. Trump. Follow. Oh, it's automatic. Next. Skip this step for now. Okay. I'm in. Get Truth Plus. We'll worry about that later. What did he... I'm going to look. Search. I don't know why I waited so long to get this. Okay, this looks old. Am I? How come these posts look old? This is his account. 34 minutes ago, he just says... He was talking about a congressional... A GOP nominee. Congratulations, John. That's the last one I'm seeing. Yeah. Mad Million, that's the one I'm seeing. Okay. I got my True Social account. Thank gosh. Now I could stay on track with it. I want to bookmark it. So yes, I've got my True Social account. Finally. I don't know why I waited so long. There we go. That was the one you're talking about that he posted. At least I got my account now. That's good. And I bookmarked it. So I'll definitely keep an eye on this. Oh my God, I still didn't do the Rumble. And I didn't even change the title. Time to chill out. They have no idea what I've been talking about. Astro, if you're still there, love to you and your wife. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you don't need an account, but I had to register. Well, I registered anyway. I didn't pay for anything yet, but I registered. So yeah, I'm new to that. So I just tried to do it as fast as possible so I could see. He did post, technically. Anyway, to all of you, like I said, I don't really watch much TV. I don't watch much TV. Oreo. No, it's not something I'm big on. I spend my time when I'm not working doing this, whether it's gaming, you know how I am, sky watching. For those that are new here, I do a lot of sky watches with the camera, the Sony A7S III. I do a lot of gaming, you know, that kind of stuff. But this is not the time for that. It's about time for this. So I'm not going to talk about that stuff. Anyway, I am going to bail out. If something, which I highly doubt, since daylight is approaching in Iran. If anything happens, I will be back. But only if it's like very significant. Otherwise, I'll be back tomorrow by noon-ish. Because it'll be nighttime again. And we'll see what happened in Iran during the daytime. I pray that's going to be so horrific. No 3i Atlas stuff. Now, I can always bring on my astronomer friend, Mark D'Antonio. But that's pretty much... That's another story for another night. But love to all of you. Love to all of you and your families. Be safe. Be well. Watch out for the flu, because I had it last week. It's going around. And take care, and I'll see you all. Oh, I'll see some of you tomorrow. And pray for the people of Iran. They need our prayers. Matter of fact, I'm going to go light a candle now. Anyway, Oreo, you have a great one. All of you, have a great night. Be well, be blessed, be safe. See everybody tomorrow. I'm out. And good night to all of you. I'll check.